There we go. Hey everyone, good evening. This is Christina with the Mamathon Diaries, your productivity coach here tonight again for a late night live. Okay, if you guys have been imagining our family schedule, y'all know I usually go live early in the day. However, it seems pretty lucrative for us to chat together later in the evening. So I'm here. Hi, Janisha. It's almost 10 p.m. in Alabama. I'm setting up our Instagram live right now. Hey everybody, good evening. Hello, hello. This was on my heart today, and so I'm going to bring you guys a little bit of new content. Um, even though we talk about overwhelm all the time here in this space, I just wanted to take a different take on it this evening. In our last, as we wrap up this long Wednesday, okay? If you're new here, if you just so happen to be popping in and watching, I am Christina Garrett. I am your productivity coach. I am the voice in the back of your mind, reminding you to take care of yourself, to love your life, to organize the things in your life that seem to be very abundant and overwhelming sometimes. We talk here in this space. Good evening, ladies. In this space, we talk. Hi, Tarnia. Yes, I'm live. I promise from here on out, solemnly swear. I solemnly swear that if it's a replay, I will put replay in the description. Okay? There are some times where we watch it, then other times when y'all don't see these, y'all don't see any of these notifications. Okay, so then we do a replay maybe the next evening. Like last night, I think I went live Monday night. I don't even remember what I was talking about because y'all know I talk about all kind of things. But then Tuesday night, my husband was preaching a revival. Hi, Nikki. Hey, Asia. Hi, Tarnia, Nicole, Tracy. What's good, everybody? So my husband was in revival last night, so I couldn't be live. So you hit the replay because sometimes y'all didn't even see it in the first place. All right. So I promise from here on out, my solemn oath to all of you that if it's a replay, I will put replay in the comments. So if you guys don't want to, if you guys, want to watch but not wait on my response per se, then you guys are able to do that as well. Okay. So that's my promise from here on out. If I'm live, I'm gonna say I'm live. If it's a replay, I'm gonna put hashtag replay because you probably missed it the last time anyway. All right. So good evening, everyone. Thank y'all for joining me. Janisha said you talked about you don't have to want to do it, just get busy, or you don't have to feel like doing it to do it. Yes, I did talk about that. I didn't even remember. You guys know I have so much content. I have like a decade of Facebook Live content on the Mamathon page. Someone asked me, a sister in our circle, Allison, I believe, she said, can you talk anything about delegating and time management? And I was like, baby, that's all we talk about. Literally, that's it. That's all we talk about. So I just kind of tagged her to the page and was like, here, have a field day of all the things that we talk about here in this community about motherhood, managing well, how to deal with our emotions, our to-do list, our responsibilities. All of these things are really pertinent to how well we show up in the world. And so I was telling someone who facilitates a nonprofit for youth. I'm going to start working with their parents soon up in the Northeast area. I was telling him yesterday on a Zoom call about how much I consider it an honor to coach you guys. And everybody might not say that, but for people to trust me with their dreams, their hopes, what they want to accomplish in the future, for you guys to tell me your ideas, and trust that it's not about to show up on the Mamathon page, right? That I took the idea and ran away with it. Like that's an ultimate trust for women to talk to me about their personal lives, their marital intimacy, that they're losing it with their children. These are sacred thoughts and feelings. And I consider it an honor. I consider it an honor to partner with you, that you say, hey, I want you to be my person. I want you to be my coach and walk with me, work with me through my life transitions. And so I consider it an honor. And that's one reason why I don't do outreach anymore in Messenger, right? Like when it comes to the conference, y'all might not see all the information, but you said that you're interested in coming, so I'm gonna send info, right? But there are other things where it's time for coaching. Y'all have watched the lives. I wait for you guys to say, hey, me, I'm that person, I'm that woman, and now I'm ready. There are some folks turning it, okay, hop in my messenger, okay? Send me a message. There are some of us who were not, y'all know I'm your person, but you're not ready yet. And that's okay. There's no rush to be ready. Okay. So this evening, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about overwhelm. I have a book that I've had for a while. I opened up, I said, what am I going to talk about tonight? And I saw this one little excerpt, and it's so tiny, but it really made an exponential difference in, let me get a little more situated. There we go. It really was a blessing to me as I looked at it, about how overwhelm is not a bad thing. Overwhelm is not a bad thing. Tanya, you said, I need you to be my person again. I love you guys. I'm always your person, even if it's here. But if you want to work one-on-one, then that's just something different, right? I'm always here. Okay. And then if you are trying to find your way or figure it out, the Mamathon Conference is October 28th through the 30th in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. So if you say conference me, boo, send me a message, and we'll get you guys in a spot. Okay. But it is really an incredible conference for women who are finding their journey, working on their strategy, balancing, building their goals and their family life. Okay. I don't care what anybody says. Doing all the things requires a different strategy. And a lot of times they may talk just about business or just about family or just about self-care, but it all goes together. It all goes together. So that's what the Mamathon Conference is designed to do. Okay. All right. So if I can focus again, we're talking about overwhelm. I'm going to pull up a post. I can't share my screen tonight. So I'm going to see if I can find that post. Nope, it's on my Instagram. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to pull up this post because it was one of the most, Asia, I'm going to get to the book, I promise. It was one of the most paramount posts I have ever done, where I shared it on my Facebook. I'm moving my phone around, guys, so I can see it. I put it up on my Facebook, and you guys were, I polled you all to ask you what overwhelm looked like in your life. Okay. And tonight you can add to the list. We might update the slide. Okay. And so some symptoms of our motherhood journey. And one reason I'm kind of laughing about it, you guys are up and a little bit more active in the evening. I dare to say, and just wave at me in the comments if this is you, that most of us have like this revenge, the revenge insomnia thing, where this is the first time of day when everything has slowed down. The kids are in the bed. The house is quiet-ish. Like I just got, if y'all see me patting like this, is because I just got the shower and worked out at like 10 p.m. No, it's 9:58 at like 9 p.m. And I said, I know while my husband is teaching in his pastoral group that I can get a 25-minute workout in. And I grabbed my weights and I was like, all right, let's get it. Shower. And then we're here. Okay. So for some of us, it's the first time that you got to sit down and breathe all day. And that's why you're here tonight. And this might be our new like preferred time to go live. My house is quiet. Asia said it's only 8:00 there in California. So, my house is quiet. Y'all house may be quieting down. But it's a beautiful evening to learn and to grow intentionally. So I put one day, I don't remember what we were talking about in regard to overwhelming motherhood, but I started to ask you guys, what does it look like for you? Okay. How does overwhelm manifest in your life, in your body? Like what happens to you when you start to hit your max? Okay. Here are some answers. I pinned this on the Mamathon Diaries Instagram if you ever want to go back and look again. But for the cause at hand, extreme fatigue. Some of us feel a low motivation. Now, if you hear yourself in any of these symptoms, just wave at me in the comments. Don't be shy. This is a judgment-free zone. It's after dark, right? low motivation, like not wanting to work on your goals. Physically, you can feel a tightness in your chest and your shoulders. You have a short temper. You start lashing out, probably at your kids, because usually they're the path of least resistance. It could be at your partner, significant other. Asia says, that's me. I'm exhausted. It's okay. She says, having a short temper, lashing out all of a sudden, right? We're lashing out. All of a sudden, we're going off on the people that we love, the people that we care about. Crying. Now, there's nothing wrong with a good therapeutic purging cry. We're not frowning on the expression of emotion physically, okay? But we're talking about sometimes it just leaks out your face as you are flustered at everything coming at you at one time due to overstimulation, okay? Another one is having poor energy, like kind of goes with extreme fatigue, overspending. Asia said, I cried today. It's okay. Overspending or overeating to compensate. Locking yourself in a room and tuning out your children. I can be candid enough to say that when my twins were small and they were loud and I had a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old to go on top of that, y'all, I was not okay. And it leaked out of me. It felt like it was raining all the time. I just felt like I was like a cloudy place, probably from just being tired and feeling a lack of control over my life. Okay. I'm honest here. Y'all can be honest. I'm honest. A repression of emotions, which leads to you running on autopilot, operating like a robot. Or, and I saw this, if somebody can tag, if you're watching on Instagram, tag Free Black Motherhood on Instagram. Because earlier today, she was posting on her feed, Free Black Motherhood. She was posting on her Instagram about having about boundaries and how they show up in her motherhood journey. And it's like, hey, listen, boundaries aren't for the kids. Boundaries are for me. It's important for them to see and to feel and to understand what it looks like to have lines of demarcation. Okay. And so that's what you all told me. I'm sliding my phone back. That is what you guys told me on a Facebook Live. It was some of the best market research I had ever done. Okay, so listen, people, I see y'all waving at me in the comments. I see you, Nicole. I see you, Tracy. Me and Tracy got a call on Friday, so she good. Nicole, I see you. She said, I now have sciatica behind it, but God will get me through this. We're praying for complete and total healing. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know where you're located. You should come to the conference. My physical therapist has been getting me together. She's been getting me together in that regard. And one thing that she told me is that certain pelvic things, certain breaks in our muscular fascia and all these things, our digestion, she said all this stuff can play a role in our nerves. I never knew this. She said, so you can be not cleansing, right? Read between the lines, not cleansing like you need to, and it affects your nerves and your legs, so it feels like sciatica and nerve pain. Tarnia said, that's me. I'm a crybaby. It's okay. Tracy, she said, Nicole, yes, the body cries out, doesn't it? And Nicole says, but we as moms still push for the kids. Tarnia says, it sent me to the hospital. Overwhelm sent her to the hospital. Her eyes twitching. Nicole says, I do want to buy, but I have to make sure the kids don't have games. We get it. My kids, they better YouTube. Okay. And so I'm seeing you guys. Asia said, I cried today too. So what we're looking at here, what we're analyzing, what you all have said to me, right? To me and this community is that there are spaces where we can feel overwhelmed. We can feel maxed out. Like, I just don't have it. Now I got you, Nicole. We just don't have it in us to give more. Okay. So here's what I think that if we could reframe, and I think that it was Tracy and I that were talking about this last week, the idea of reframing. Okay. The idea of thinking of overwhelm in a different way. Okay. Looking at the flow of our lives and saying, I'm choosing to look at this. I see you, confident homemaker. Can you please share your name in the chat so that I know exactly who you are? Okay. We can reframe our thinking. We can reframe our life. We can reframe our flow. And maybe from now on, we look at overwhelm in a different way. I've seen the posts, as I just pay attention to all this stuff, especially in the wellness space, leadership space, mom space, right? Like, this is my jam. And I've seen the posts that say, listen, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just overwhelmed. Hey, Teresa, I know who you are, girl. I am not ignoring you, but I'm just hitting my max. I got to sneeze. Hold on. Did it go away? Okay. So I'm not overwhelming myself intentionally, but instead I'm working on doing my due diligence, but I just feel like I'm drowning. Okay. This is the common feelings that we can feel over time, and eventually they can start to manifest in our lives. Do I have my book? Dang, I don't have my book. Do I have my book? No, I don't. Where is it? I don't have it. Ugh. Okay, so in the book Take the Day Off by Pastor Robert Morris, one of our faves here in this community, he talks about the symptoms of physiological stress and emotional overwhelm on the body, right? And one of them is feeling detached, like you are the only person in the world that is experiencing certain feelings. Like you're the only person in the world that is feeling like I can't handle all the stuff that's sitting on my plate, okay? So today, for just a few more minutes, we're going to talk about 3 things that overwhelm shows us. Yes, Tracy, take the day off. Girl, that's my jam. 3 things that overwhelm shows us. Number 1, y'all are going to shout off of this. Number 1, overwhelm shows us that we have answered prayers. Overwhelm shows us that we have answered prayers. Teresa, is called Take the Day Off by Robert Morris. Overwhelm shows us that we have answered prayers. Okay? There was a day that everything that you are currently complaining about was a prayer request. I can complain now about this space that I have in this this house that we live in now, right? Where at one point it was 7 of us living. Tarnia said, girl, stop. See? We're going to come down Tarnia's lane in a second. I prayed. There were 7 of us living in our 3-bedroom apartment. We brought our twins home to that apartment. The apartment was good to us. We just wore it out. Okay. And we stayed there and raised 5 children in a 3-bedroom. And I said to myself, God, I need a 4-bedroom house with an extra space, like a den. And we really wanted to have a fireplace too. God, like in a nice big fenced-in yard. Guess where I'm staying now? Tarnia said, I remember that apartment. And everybody and their mama was like, your backdrop looks different. We didn't like announce to anybody that we packed up and moved to another city, but we did. Lengthen our drive to our church when my husband pastors and everything. Tania says, I remember that apartment. You going outside and walking through that big field by my apartment in the morning. Now I can say, oh my goodness, it feels like there's always something to tidy up here. But it's because God answered my prayer. God heard me outside saying, God, I can't keep these kids in this little space. Overwhelm is a sign of answered prayer. Somebody say, thank you, Jesus. At one point in time, you were praying for that fine man, honey. For that fine man, as chocolate as he is, or vanilla, whatever floats your boat. You were praying for him because that bed at night had icicles in it. Didn't it? Didn't it have icicles in it? The bed had icicles. Now we can complain that he doesn't put his clothes in the basket. The basket is right next to the clothes. Okay. Now we can complain about things that men do. Pick something. But at one point in time in your life, baby, all you asked for was, God, please just send me somebody to love and it's going to love me. That I don't have to. Janisha, we thank God for your house. At one time, we were just praying for somebody to share our life with. All your friends out there getting married, you still hoofing it solo. You said, Lord, Lord, hear my humble cry. God gave you the man. The man goes to church with you, or he at least encourages you to be the woman that you sort of kind of should be. He puts up with you. He catches lizards in the house like my husband does. And then we have the nerve to say, but he don't put the clothes right in the basket. It's right there. And we do the Adam and Eve thing where we say, Lord, that person you gave me, don't do this. Y'all hearing me tonight? Most of the time, overwhelm comes because God answers a whole bunch of our prayers at the same time. At the same time, God, you telling me I got the man, or the man's on the way, or you thinking maybe, hey, I could, holler at so and so. You got the kids. Some of us watching on this live, we're told we couldn't have kids. Now, I'm not saying that everything that they do is wonderful. We're not going to lie to ourselves. Some of us just prayed for our children. I had something called placenta previa with my number 4, where I bled like a period for the first half of my pregnancy. And every time I thought I'm losing the baby, my sister-in-law would say, don't talk like that. I said, but I know that sometimes God gets glory when we lose. Or grieve or go through something so I can be more sympathetic with women who have had loss. But now that big head boy is here, pulling out every car and crayon and doing all the things. He is smart and brilliant and handsome. He's here. He is an answered prayer request. And so some of us, we are sitting in this place of, I have all these bombarding prayer requests that have been answered at one time. So now you feel overwhelmed. You feel a little, drowning and maxed out. But it's because God answered your prayers. Think about it. Man, God, I asked for this house. You gave me the house. Even if it's not the big fancy house that you want yet, there are houses in my neighborhood that I'm like, honey, name it and claim it. Can I walk around it 7 times like the Israelites? There are places up the street. But right now, God, this 4-bedroom with this extra, God, this was my prayer for years. You gave that to me. Now I got to organize it all. You gave me these children with the privilege to homeschool them. Now I got to figure out what this is going to look like this year. It's looking different than it ever has before because my son is in high school now and he's in different programs now. All these different things are happening at one time. And now my career, where we just doing all the things in the most wonderful way, is exploding. Overwhelm often is a sign of answered prayers. Number 2, overwhelm teaches you your limits. Overwhelm teaches you your limits, okay? So boundaries are a beautiful thing. Finding that happy medium, that balance that works is a beautiful thing. And in the midst of all of it, it also shows you, okay, this is just a little bit too much. Like Nicole said earlier, and I just saw this, that sometimes God answers us, but we move too fast. And he makes us sit out for a couple seasons. Teresa says, when everything happened all at once, it's crazy. It's an overflow. And I shared this 2 nights ago that I no longer talk to you all and say, oh my gosh, you're overwhelmed. We need to help you organize your overwhelm. We've changed that language to instead, we help you to organize your abundance, your overflow. Because when we subscribe to being overwhelmed over and over again, it gives the mentality that I'm not handling this very well. When I dare to say that at this moment in your life, you have more in your basket, in your hands, in your bag than you ever have in your life. You ever have. And so now, because you have this heavy set abundance all wrapped up in your arms, you're like, listen, I got to figure out how this is going to work. I have to figure out how I'm going to organize all of this. And that's where I come in. But that's for another day. Or overwhelm reveals your limitations. It teaches you your limits. It says, you know what, maybe, just maybe, God bless me with these wonderful children, but maybe all 5 kids don't need to be in a sport on different sides of town at one time. Maybe I need to say no more. Nicole, I know I'm on the street. Maybe we need to have a day where we don't do anything. The Take the Day Off book talks about how Sabbath and rest days are the forgotten commandments. That we still go along with don't kill, don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, but we've taken out Sabbath days. There's a whole 8 sessions on the Mamathon page if you want to go back and listen to them. Okay, they're there for you to watch. Okay, so it reveals your limitations. And you may have to put a bubble around your personal limitations in order to thrive. And one thing that I speak about here is when I'm talking to the next version of you, that version of you that you've been dreaming about and wanting and craving and walking into it and all this amazing jazz, right? When I talk to that woman, I'm not asking, are you making it? The fact that you're here on this live with me tonight tells me that you're already making it, that you're doing okay. But there's a difference between making it and thriving. There's a difference. It's a difference between waking up and feeling like, dang, I really am living my best life. What? I really am. That is a beautiful feeling. And so we have to ask ourselves, are we doing that application? It reveals our limitations. You're not Jesus. Nobody in your life is Jesus. We look to people on the left and to the right and all these places to step in and fulfill spaces that it's only God who can do it. Outside of that, I am limited. Outside of that, I can't do more than is within my span, right? And so one of the pillars of productivity that we talk through that I usually do on the first and second session with my clients is identifying the family vision. This is the bigger picture. This means that if my kid doesn't join cheerleading on steroids this year, they will not die. If they don't join the soccer team this year, because we have 50,000 other things on the family calendar, or we want to have less stuff on the family calendar, you will not die. Just because your children want to go and do stuff don't mean they got to go do it, because they don't pay for nothing. They don't pay. They have no money. I'm serious. We really be breaking our back. And I'm not saying that it's not necessary, but when I talked to that gentleman yesterday with that nonprofit, and they operate all out of New York, right? And they help kids to attend private schools, charter schools, all the way up to graduate school. I said, this is so incredible. And one of the things he shared is a lot of times the parents, y'all, put more pressure on the kids than the administration does. that we as parents put more pressure on the kids to perform. That is not necessary. If they were in communities and places that allowed them to thrive, did you know that your creative energy and clarity boost through the roof when you slow down? Nicole, yes, us, girl. Yes, us. Did you know that physiological stress syndrome, overload, always rushing, always going, is a contributor to 5 out of the 6 causes of death? Cardiac, respiratory, cancer. What's the other ones? It's something else, and accidents. Because we're rushing so much, going so much from there to there to here all the time. Overwhelm reveals I'm not superhuman. I am not superhuman. I have limitations. Tarnia said I was begging him to run track. He just want to play chess. Take the chess. Who are we to tell our children have a different dream than the one that's in your own heart? Slowing down is beautiful. Doing less is beautiful. But we can't teach them what we ourselves don't know. I know I'm snatching edges tonight, but it's truth and love. It really is. It's love. Teresa says less is more. It's more effective. And so what we have to ask ourselves is, what limitations is my body showing me and teaching me that I'm not honoring? Are my children exhibiting attributes and traits of being overwhelmed, and I just tuck them back into it? For example, this year, my oldest son, he's in a high school age program, and he's also taking 4 more classes. Say that again, doing less, it was Teresa that said this over on Instagram. She said, less is more. It's more effective. We just talking tonight, girlfriend to girlfriend. What limitations are you seeing in your family? I'm going to tell you something. Slowing down is key to having challenging and difficult conversations with our kids that we might not otherwise have space for. We may not otherwise have space for. Thank you, Tarnia. No problem. We might not have space for these conversations. It is real out here. It's real out here. Some of the things that my son brings to me, I'm like, you don't want to talk to your daddy about that? Are you sure we need to have this teenage conversation? I don't want to. This is TMI. But me slowing down is crucial to him having the opportunity to share. And so then my son, he comes to me yesterday. He says, Mom, thank you guys. Hey, lady. Says, Mom, thank you so much for being there to listen to me. He says, thank you for being there to listen to me. He said, because I just don't know who I would tell all this stuff to if y'all weren't here to just be here and let me bounce ideas off of. And am I wrong for thinking this? And is this a sin? And Mom, is this what God meant when he said this? All of this stuff, these questions he got about the Bible and what he wants to do when he gets older, and all of this stuff that is just so big and lofty. Y'all, if we're moving so much and operating always in survival mode, we will miss these moments. And I don't know about you, I'm trying so hard to catch them all, like Pokemon. I'm trying so hard to catch them all. So number 1, your overwhelm reveals answered prayers. Number 2, overwhelm reveals your limitations. And then number 3, overwhelm stretches you. Overwhelm stretches you. Okay. So I opened up this book, and as I read, I promise you guys will get all the goods, because y'all know I love talking about a good book. Asia says, this is one of my parenting pillars. Just show up and listen. One of my favorite mom coaches, her name is Susan C. Seay. She is on Instagram, Susan C. She has a card deck that is like 10 questions that you should ask your child every year. And they go from, is there anything that you would tell me that you feel like I would be mad about? But in this safe bubble, in this safe space, you don't have to worry about any repercussions. And she said that that's how she found out about all kind of incredulous things that were going on in her family that she had no idea about, that the enemy had leaked in places, but she didn't realize. So you can get that on her website. Her Instagram is Susan C. Seay on the end. Okay. And so Overwhelm stretches you. And here they have a section about amplifying your performance. This is the book. I'm sorry, guys. The book is called The Burnout Fix. It looks like this. The Burnout Fix. Everybody got that? The Burnout Fix by Dr. Jacinta Jimenez. Jimenez with a J. Okay. And so one of the things that she has inside of here, if you see this little diagram, can everybody see the diagram? I hope I'm doing good with this today. I'm doing a little show and tell. Everybody got it? Okay. So on this graph, it says the stretch goal planning barometer. Isn't that cool? The stretch goal planning barometer. So in the first part, it's your comfort zone. It's your comfort zone. Section 1, like step 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Then you get to your stretch zone. So part 1 is your comfort zone. The next box is your stretch zone. Let me show you one more time. Okay. Stretch zone. 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then it says your stress zone is 8, 9, and 10. Okay. And this is what she says here. Just like working out and keeping your heart strong and healthy by raising your heart rate through exercise, it is important to experience small doses of stress in order to grow. The key here, it says, according to research, stress in small doses actually stimulates growth. The key here is to find and set small, progressively challenging stretch goals in service toward your bigger goal. When working with clients, I have them set their stretch goal between 4 and 7 on the goal planning barometer on the chart that I just showed you guys. It says setting goals that are just a little out of your comfort zone have tremendous benefits. Okay? And so she says, though, when will you practice the goal in the coming week? Once you've made your goal and your plan, you need to make sure to plan how you will monitor yourself, okay, to make sure that you're doing the work. It can also be about trying a different approach that is slightly uncomfortable or unfamiliar, as long as it puts you in your stretch zone. Here's the problem. Most of us live the extent of our existence in the stress zone. It is healthy, it is normal to experience small increments or portions of stress, but some of us, we stay there. We live there. We operate in the stress zone for extended periods of time, okay? Instead of being in a stretch zone, which is where I try to put my clients, right? Okay, you got to do something that is outside of your norm. You got to do something. You got to put your name in the hat for some things you never thought you would put your name in the hat for. I'm going to need you to pick up the phone and contact that person and say, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Do you know where I can fit that in for you? As my husband is making a lot of transitions career-wise, one of the things he has always done was coached and consulted, even while he was cutting hair. So now he's like, listen, I'm going to do this full-time and ministry full-time. We going all the way in. Tracy says she sure does stretch us. So we're going all the way in. So what does that mean? I said, baby, now you're taking your gifts, your talents, the things that you've always been amazing at, and now you're funneling it into a different avenue. But you're not new to this. You're already true to this. You've been doing it. You've been in leadership and organizational development. You've been doing this. You've been pastoring for 15 years since we were 20. Teresa said, it sure does stretch you, but you have sure given me some deep roots. Is that what that means? Listen, the roots have to go deep. It's like not new to this, true to this, right? So how do we angle this in a different way so that it leads to results? Okay. So the stretch zone is that beautiful place where we are pushing forward, but we're not maxing out all the time. Like when I get to the last 2 weeks of conference time, I'm in my stress zone. I'm moving off. I wake up thinking about the conference. I go to sleep thinking about the conference. I wake up thinking about y'all, how I can help y'all to get there. Like I just all I think about. It's truly a labor of love. It's a labor of love. Every year is a labor of love. But it stretches me every year as I think about, man, how are we going to reconfigure this? How are we going to do this better? How are we going to deliver a different kind of experience for the ladies who have been there the last 6 years? How do we do that? How do we move forward? So, where are you right now? Where are you right now? Are you in the comfort zone? Are you in the stretch zone? Or are you spending a little bit too much time in the stress zone, in the overwhelm zone? Nicole says she feels lost. Okay. Tania says she's in the stress zone. My edges are just not functioning very well, right? That's okay. That's authentic. Janice said, I'm in rinse and repeat. That's a mamathon principle. Yes, it is. I'm uncomfortable and I'm stretching, a little stressed and overwhelmed. I want to add that sometimes overwhelm is an indication that you've learned to dream bigger. It may show you that you've learned how to dream bigger. They say that if you're not creating new problems, what are you really doing? I think it's Grant Cardone that says that in his book, The 10X Rule. He says, if you're not creating new problems, then what are we even doing? Teresa says, I'm in the overwhelm zone. That's what my messenger is for, y'all. Okay, we'll get to that. We'll talk about it. Yes, Janisha. Overwhelm shows you that you got to dream bigger, that you're in a bigger dreaming status. Where now I got to say, how in the world do I even pull that off? I'm doing stuff at this phase in my journey, y'all, that I didn't even think I would do. I never thought I would do. Turning the 10X Rule is by Grant Cardone. It's a yellow book with a big black 10X on the front. Can't miss it. It's really good. He says, if you're not creating new problems, if you're not feeling the stress, he says everybody is kind of coasting. That's what the majority of people are doing. That's what the majority of people are doing, coasting, doing average action. But what would happen if you picked up the pace? What would happen if you said, I cannot afford to fail? Like that, listen, I took a nice hot shower, sitting in my room, putting my smell good lotions on from Bath and Body Works, right? Just woo-sawing myself. And I said to myself, self, there's somebody that needs to hear tonight. It's okay if you feel overwhelmed. So here we are. This is just for you. Asia says, I'm trying to get the self-care challenge ready to launch. I'm excited but nervous. And guess what? I just want somebody to know this. I just want y'all to feel it. Hold on, where'd it go? Where is my? Uh-oh. I don't see it. Hold on, y'all, because I was looking for something specific. And I can't find it. What is? Oh, wait, never mind. It's close by. Okay, so I'm gonna give y'all a principle. Okay, Asia says her body is freaking out. I cannot tell y'all. Mamathon is a decade old. Okay, I just want y'all to roll with me for 5 more minutes, maybe 7. Mamathon is a decade old. Our first conference was in a hotel room this big, not figurative, literally this big, as big as this book. Not a joke. I could kind of be joking. Okay, Asia, listen, we're here for it. The chicken was dry. The cookies were probably hard. Maybe we had cheesecake. But I remember that chicken was dry. And we got together let me tell you, first, I walked into the Hilton Garden Inn. It wasn't until later, this sounds bougie, I'm sorry, you don't have your conference at an inn. Okay, I didn't know this when I did this, okay? Yes, Asia, the chicken was dry, okay? I didn't know till later that you cannot be sedity and host your event at an inn. I never knew this. I walked into the conference room. They had this beautiful floral carpet, and I walked out of there with my name on the contract. So proud that an idea that had been laboring in my mind for years was now officially in play. And I had every single reason why it was not going to work. I told my husband, I said, baby, I want to host this event for moms. I want to do this. I want to do that, but I just can't. He said, well, why can't you? I said, well, you work a day job, and this is happening in the twins and all these things. He was like, who told you to discount yourself? Who told you? This is what overwhelm causes us to do. It causes us to be stuck, right? He said, who told you to discount and remove yourself from your own possibilities? I took myself out of it. I didn't even ask him. This is what some of us do with the conference now. Your husband, you want to go away for the weekend, you don't even ask. You don't even say, baby, could you do me the honor of stepping in this weekend? I really want to go and just breathe. And we talk about at the conference how to come back, and baby, we send you home so good. He'll send you back again next year. Trust me. When you go home, you got to understand the assignment, though. Y'all already know what I'm talking about. Okay. Just my girl Stacey said, telling my business. We don't even ask. And I'm saying that this is me. I'm being honest. This is our 7th year going into the conference. And just this year, I said, baby, I love y'all, but I'm not coming back till Monday. Because by the time the end of Sunday comes, I actually am ready to see my family. I miss them. But this year, I'm taking my extra day. And I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to get a massage, and I'm going to do all the stuff. Yes, Tracy, we send you home with homework, baby. Your husband don't care what you go do if you bring him the booty home. But some of y'all go to these Christian women conferences and worship, and then come home and don't worship. Y'all better get it together. Nicole says it hits better when you have a true God-sent backbone, right? This awesome. But it was so funny. And I feel like a lot of us, your husband ain't even got to love God for this to work. Your husband don't even have to love God like that, like you love him. Tania said, I don't have a husband. That means you ain't got nobody to ask permission from. And we're not saying permission as in if he says, no, you can't go, but permission as in, hey, I need your support with picking up the slack while I'm gone. Can you think that's cool with you? Can you not have no plans on that Saturday while I roll out? I'll be back Sunday night, brand new. So the moral of the story is this, and this really was for Asia, right? Is that the start of the Mamathon conference was ROUGH. I went through things in the 2nd year, right, that made me not want to ever do it again. Never. It just didn't. The event itself was wonderful, but the aftermath, the contract stuff, things with the hotel, all this kind, it was so bad. I wanted to never do it again. And so if I sat there in that moment, right? If I sat there in that moment and made the decision that I wasn't, lay you back, Megan. If I stayed there in that moment, we would not be here. I don't care what the result is. I don't care if you start teaching on something or going live on something and not a soul shows up. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Who got this episode? I don't care. This is the pride of my year. This right here. This joint right here. Where they talk about productivity experts. And that's me. Well, if we stop, we don't get here. If we stop, we don't get there. If we quit, if we give up, if we say, oh, I'm just overwhelmed, this must not be for me, we'll never make it. We won't make it. We just won't. Janisha says, I'm notorious for having lives and nobody shows up. Are we formatting our lives in the right way? Are we introducing ourselves so that people want to stick around? Are we putting it together in a easily formatable thing that I had 3 points of why I was coming? That overwhelm shows answer prayers. That overwhelm reveals your limitations. That overwhelm stretches you. Boom, boom, boom. The other night, we had 3 points. Boom, boom, boom. You can go back a decade of lives. Go back a decade of lives to see the formatting, right? So sometimes there are things that we need to tweak, that we wonder why it's not as successful as it could be. And that's okay. I got lives where y'all didn't come. Evidently, 9 o'clock at night is the time to go live. Y'all off work. Some of y'all kids in the bed. This is the time for us to talk. That just means I'm going to show up now instead of early. She said people like the post about the lives, but don't show up. Sometimes we want people to be engaging, but we're not that exciting. When I did the live talking about maternal overwhelm, y'all showed up because this is what you want to talk about. This is what y'all want to hear about. This is how you want to reformat your life, because maybe you were like Teresa, one of the other ladies who said, I never thought about overwhelm being as a result of God actually answering my prayers. That's why I feel a little strained. I feel like I'm stressing. I can feel it in my body that I'm changing, and they're growing pains. So it's okay to not be interesting as you could be. Let's own it. Let's take ownership of it. Trey says it's almost midnight here. It's late here too, girl. Maybe. And it's hard to come to the concept of that. Like, it's hard sometimes for us to remember that people don't come to you, it sounds bad, to hear you talk about you. Y'all come to hear me speak in a relatable way about stuff that involves you. If I just came here and just talked about my whole life story with no relevance to who you are, y'all be like, unfollow. But y'all want to know how to balance better. You want to know how this community is here for you. You want to know about what you're going to get here, right? If I could just wake up tomorrow and say, oh my goodness, I have so much going on, but dang, I remember when I ain't have nothing going on. I remember when I had no clients. I remember when I didn't have no house and we were all stuck inside a house, a room this size. My house is so loud, but God, I remember when I prayed for these children. If it's just you reframing your life, then that's why we're here. And I can bring myself in and use myself as an example and the lessons that I've learned over time and, what my clients may have vocalized or all this kind of stuff is fantastic. But let's own the fact that if we don't have results, it is nobody else's fault. One thing we will do, when I did that talk yesterday for Queen's University, y'all, one of the things I emphasized it was the need for personal responsibility, that you will take 100% ownership of where we are in life and the fruit that we are bearing. We don't have time or the opportunity to not do that. Okay, we just don't have time. We don't have time. If something's not the way it's supposed to be, fix it. If you're not getting the results you want, tweak it. If you feel like things are still overflowing, and I'm not getting where I need to in the time span that I want to, then you find somebody that can walk with you to work you to those results faster. I was working with one of my ladies, and I said this the other night. Somebody slid in my messenger, was pitching me about in my email, was pitching me about becoming a public relations client, right? And I was like, fam. She's like, we've got our ladies in Essence and Sweet July and here and here. And I was like, thank you, but I've done all of that already on my own. And then I sat there with my client last week, and I was like, this is how you do this. And we're going to go through boom, 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 boom. And everything this person was trying to feed me, right? I was given to my client already as a part of her organization and business building coaching for 6 months. Every question she has, she gets to come and bring those in. How do I format this better? Send me your pitches over so that I can proofread them for you before you send them out. Because I know how to get responses back from Essence and Sweet July and Forbes and Washington Post and CNN and BET.com. So since I've just been doing this for a while, we can work through this together as part of your partnership of working with me, right? And so it's okay if you have to tweak, but own up to, okay, my life feels overwhelming. I'm not making progress in certain areas, and here is why. Be honest with your reasons. I shared with you guys the other day, I was going out running, out of breath, huffing and puffing. Okay. I just look at all kind of shit. I hadn't been in a while. And I talked about how there are days where I go out running, I feel afraid of going, which sounds crazy because I'm the only person that's out there. Like, be honest with yourself to say, you need to do this more often. This is why you're not getting results, whatever. Own up to it. And it's not comfortable and it doesn't feel good, but you're the only person that lives inside of you. So if it's not cranking like what it's supposed to, just be honest. Say, okay, I'm a little inconsistent sometimes. I might need more accountability. I'm afraid of X, Y, and Z. Okay, but I don't have the privilege right now of caving into those fears. So I need to be accountable for doing this. I need to make sure I'm still challenging myself. This feels uncomfortable, but oh well. This feels uncomfortable, but oh well. I'm used to discomfort at this point. I am not afraid of hard things. Not afraid of hard things, whether that is for myself personally, my personal goals, my professional goals, my children, my household, everything. The flow of everything that surrounds me is up to me. Even how I respond to my husband or your co-parent or whatever, how even you respond to those spaces is ultimately up to you. You're responsible for your emotions, your thoughts, your decisions. And so often we talk more about what somebody else is doing than what we ourselves need to adjust and fix. Okay. Tracy affirmed, I am not afraid of doing hard things. I'm not afraid of that. It scares me when I press send. When I say I pitched Essence magazine with fear and trembling. Oh, y'all thought I was like, yeah, I'm that chick. Boop. I feel like that, but it doesn't mean I wasn't nervous. I was nervous. I looked at that hours. You hear me? Hours. But now every time I see that logo in my email, I took the time after this happened this summer to reach out to the lifestyle editor. I said, I know that you're used to all of your pizzazz because you're like this Essence superstar. This is just what you do. I said, but for us, this is everything. And I want to make sure that I reach out to say thank you for giving me that opportunity to share about why this is so valuable to me. Because I'm in the thing talking about why we doing all this stuff with these kids, girl. Don't be stressing yourself out. Y'all know how I do. Okay. Making our way to the goal. It's here. I haven't hit everything on my goal. I got some stuff in here about morning shows. But what's at the top? 2022 goals. That's right there. So sometimes you feel that overwhelm on your way to the bigger picture, on your way to the things that you have on your list for this extended period of time. And you're like, okay, I'm not sure. I got on here homeschooling with intention. So I purposefully put my kids in programs this year to make sure that I didn't drop the ball on anything. I wanted to make sure mom, didn't drop the ball. Did y'all think I was Mary Poppins or something? I'm not. So for my own personal accountability, I put my children in programs where they're taking psychology, marine biology, forensic. My daughter's taking forensic science because she wants to be like Monk. It's like places where they can grow intentionally and learn. My son's learned about, he's 12, he's learning about electrons and stuff. And I'm like, I couldn't teach you that. Somebody else can do that. Stretching yourself so you can move out of your comfort zone into a stretch zone. But let's not live in the stress zone. It's okay for moments here and there. Our overwhelm teaches us things so that we can adapt accordingly. Okay? We got to adapt accordingly. And so it's late. Janice said, I want to be on your talk show. I don't know if I... Okay, girl. One of these days. It's late. Y'all definitely need to go to bed. I know I do. I want to encourage you to look at the bigger picture and remember that your overwhelm is a result of God answering your prayers. It is also a teaching lesson, right? For you to analyze what's working. Maybe we need to do less. Maybe we need to tweak things accordingly so that we are growing and focusing in a different way so that we're accomplishing the family vision. That is the first part of the Mamathon framework. Before you can communicate about the stuff you need and all this other stuff, we need to know what the family vision is first, okay? And then it stretches you so that you can become the woman that you need to be. All right? So that's it for tonight. This has been a long live. But I thank you guys for hanging out with me this evening. Thank y'all so much for being here. Tomorrow's Thursday. I don't have anything tomorrow. So we'll probably go live a little earlier though. Probably around 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Because my husband has a church meeting. And so he'll be there. And once he comes home, I'm going to be relaxing with my honey. Okay. So if you are like Janisha or Asia or a plethora of other ladies here tonight who need support with organizing your overflow, okay, where you are at a place in your life where so many incredible things are coming at you all at one time and you're trying to figure out who is that person who helps women with families to organize their goals, brainstorm, embrace more clarity, and work some kinks out. Who helps me to hit my goals because she's already hit hers and is continuing to do so, then I want to invite you to hop in my messenger. We do have space for a few new clients. I am grateful to be up for some continued partnerships and proposals. So we will probably be tweaking how we do the one-on-one coaching, but I still do have space for a couple more ladies. And FYI, if you come on and you're interested in working with me, partnering with me, then the ticket to the Mamathon conference is complimentary. It comes with you as a VIP client. I mean, what are perks for? Okay. So if something I share with you has resonated, right? And you're like, okay, I'm ready. Okay. You said that within yourself. I'm ready to stretch. I'm ready to grow. I want to do it on purpose and I want to do it with a plan. Then my inbox is open to you. Okay. Feel free to hop in. If we can set up a time to chat about all the things. Okay. You can tell me your life story. Okay. And then we can figure out what the strategy looks like for you with your family life in tow. Okay. I love y'all so much. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys. If you missed the goodness, the juiciness from this last hour, go back, hit the replay, and just let it go while you're doing dishes or tidying up the house with like Tarnia or whatever it is you're doing as you wind down for the evening. Definitely catch this replay and we will probably restream it sometime. But I'm grateful that you guys are here. And again, I look forward to talking to you in Messenger. Hop in my DM if you're ready to work. All right. Good night. Good night. Good night. Love you guys. I hope you feel the love and we'll see you tomorrow.